Dear Tim and Moby, my teacher said we're running out of fossil fuels. Does she mean gas? From Maddie. Hey, Maddie. Natural gas, along with coal and oil, are all known as fossil fuels. We use fossil fuels to heat our homes, run our cars, and power industrial plants. And, more importantly, we're using them now to cook these hot dogs. Oil and natural gas are similar because they're both types of petroleum. Oil is the liquid form, natural gas is the gaseous form. Petroleum comes from the remains of marine microbes, plants, and animals from millions of years ago. That's right, Moby, dead plants and animals. Yeah, well, enjoy your hot dog. Anyway, when these organisms died, their bodies began to decay. They sank to the bottom of the ocean or swamp they were living in. Over time, they were covered with layers of sand and then stone. Heat and pressure went to work on them over millions of years. Eventually, they were transformed into pockets of petroleum in the earth. That's why we call them fossil fuels. They come from prehistoric organisms. Miners use big drills and pumps to get deep into the Earth's crust and find petroleum. These drills create underground wells, both on land and offshore. The oil and natural gas that come from petroleum are really valuable resources. The gasoline that powers cars is made from refined oil. And if you have a gas stove, then you've seen natural gas in action. Both oil and gas can be burned in power plants to generate electricity. Another type of fossil fuel is coal. Coal was also once living matter. Yeah, this might sound familiar. Prehistoric plants died and sank into the swamps and bogs. Over time, they were covered with layers of rock and earth. The pressure became so great that it slowly squeezed them into a solid. Coal is extracted by digging large mines, both near the surface and deep in the earth. Coal was used heavily as a fuel source during the Industrial Revolution and is still commonly used today. Fossil fuels are incredibly efficient energy sources. Just one tank of gasoline can take a car hundreds of miles. They're also pretty convenient because they don't need too much processing. Unfortunately, burning fossil fuels releases lots of harmful byproducts. This creates pollution, affecting the quality of the air we breathe. You know this if you've passed coal-burning smokestacks, or opened a car window while stopped in traffic. Burning fossil fuels also releases carbon dioxide, which is one major cause of climate change. We're already experiencing many of the effects of climate change. Extreme weather patterns like terrible hurricanes and storms. Worsening drought conditions, which lead to frequent wildfires. Rising sea levels and shrinking ice caps, and the destruction of animal habitats. But even if they didn't have such harmful effects, fossil fuels are a non-renewable resource. That means once they're used up, they're gone and can't be replaced. And we're using fossil fuels much faster than the Earth can produce them. At our current rate of consumption, we probably won't have enough oil and gas to last us through the next century. Fossil fuels still account for about 60% of the energy used in the world. It's hard for people to change. Luckily, there are cleaner alternatives to fossil fuels. Lots of research is being done on developing renewable energy. Solar power, a clean, cheap way to capture the awesome power of the sun. And nuclear power, a way to channel atomic energy. Tapping other sources of energy like water and wind are also alternatives. Geothermal energy harnesses the internal heat from the Earth itself. And keep an eye out for fuel cells that run on hydrogen. Ew. In order to conserve fossil fuels, Moby has volunteered to eat his hot dogs raw from now on.